What is up, comic book community? Longbox Love Affair here with another comic book haul. So I just did Baltimore Comic Con, so why do I have more comics that have happened after Baltimore? So these books that I'm going to show, some of them I got right before Baltimore from my friend Queerty Comics, Sean. Sean came to visit. He was my partner in crime for Baltimore Comic Con again this year, and he actually picked up some comic books for me back in his home state in Oregon. So he lives in Portland. He works at a comic book shop, so he has access to key comics that I do not. And he asked me one day, he texted me, he's like, do you need any FOOMs? F-O-O-M, FOOM. So these were magazine quality, a newsprint kind of material, magazines that Marvel did back in the, gosh, I guess the 70s, maybe the 80s, and it had to be the 70s. So there weren't many of them, and they're hard to find, especially the ones that have the early preview of Wolverine, the early preview of Giant Size X-Men, and all those characters. So I have been casually hunting for these books, and they are hard to find in good condition. Usually they have the mail postage stamp on the back because they were just mailed outright to families, to subscribers. And then usually there's a lot of tanning, a browning, roughed up because they were magazines. There wasn't a whole collectible market for them until recently. So Sean messaged me and said, we got all these. Do you need any? And so I said, yes, these are the ones I want. I want the prototype Wolverine. I want the Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. I have the Giant Size X-Men one already, and I have a couple of other ones, the Stan Lee amalgam image, the classic Stan Lee face. So there are a few early ones that I needed. And time went on, I'm getting ready to go to something, and then Sean messages and says, I'm going to get them, but we had a miscommunication, so I was thinking he was going to get them for me, but he said he got them for him. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were talking about something else. At the end of the day, long story short, we ironed out the misunderstanding of who was buying what for who, and he came bearing gifts when he came for Baltimore Comic Con. And so we settled up. It actually covered his cost of the hotel and then some. So no money exchanged hands, but we certainly paid for things on each ends, and he brought these books to me. So the key one that I was so excited to get was this FOOM number 2. What is significant about this book? 2 things, in my opinion. First, prototype of Wolverine, and it's a doozy. I'm going to open this and I'll show you. But it's also a Jim Steranko cover, a rockin' Jim Steranko cover. Years ago, I was thinking of buying this just to get Jim to sign it. But the newsprint on it is so fine that I would worry that his marker would bleed through. It just wouldn't be what I wanted. And I think in some ways it would damage the book. So Sean picked this up for me. He pressed this and everything else I'm going to show you. And yeah, so this is the first prototype. Let's open it up and see what that prototype looks like. So here's the book, all nice, very nice copy, very nice copy. And as you can see, the back does not have the mail stamp. I am so excited about that. It just keeps it in high grade and doesn't, have that extra stamp. So it is really a magazine. There's not much going on. Like they got Call here, Call the Conqueror, lots of different previews. So it's really kind of silly that this is a prototype for Wolverine, but there it is, right here. They call him the Wolverine. It is not anything like Wolverine that we know and love him today. So they took this idea and totally changed it. And it looks like this was a contest for people that had the first issue to send in character designs. So really ballsy for Marvel to do that because there could be copyright infringements or what have you. But their version of Wolverine is nothing like this version, the today version. So that's why this book is hot. Another classic FOOM book that I wanted just for the cover is FOOM number 3, SpiderMan. Really nice red cover, red and blue. Got the negative space. They did not fill the cover up. Later issues in FOOM got really busy, very different with the times, but this is a really great one. So Spider-Man FOOM issue. You don't see these books. You don't see these books a lot. And if you do, they're so hard to find that oftentimes they're expensive. The last FOOM I'm going to show you is issue number 4, the Doctor Doom cover. Is this Kirby? It looks like Kirby on the cover. Kirby artwork. This is a book that, Sean brought this, and then this week, this book has been on like runner-up lists and top 10 lists, so there's a lot of speculation around Doctor Doom, and it's just a really cool cover. It's just a really cool cover, and it's magazine quality. So, size, I should say, magazine size, newsprint quality. The pages are super thin, but really excited to have this. This is probably the lower grade of the bunch, but not by much. It's mostly in the spine that has some ticks. I will probably end up sending these to get slabbed by CGC. I should also have them slab my FOOM number 10, which is the giant size X-Men one. That's the highly coveted one for that. But this is a super cool Doctor Doom cover. I've been very into Fantastic Four back issues these days, so this is definitely scratching that sweet spot. I'm going to show a couple more magazines in a minute, but I want to get through the books that Sean, Queerty Comics, brought to me. So he also brought me this Image number 8, the first appearance of World Tree. His store got this in, 2 copies. He got one and he brought me this one. I didn't know he was bringing this, so that was pretty cool. And then he also brought me World Tree number 1. What's different about this is the error variant, so the first official print. And why is it the error variant? Because it's dark. It's got a dark cover on the side, so you can't make it out what's there. They later apparently reprinted this to make it a little bit more distinguishable. And we were hunting a couple days after the Baltimore Comic-Con, and at a local comic shop we found another copy of it, so I snagged it. Same thing, error, dark printing cover. I haven't heard anything about this. This is all from Sean, so gladly pick up error copies, things that are lower print run. And I'll have to admit, I've been intrigued by this story. Have I been loving it? I'm not sure. I've been trying to keep up. I have another issue that's waiting for me to read on the nightstand, but it's intriguing. I might have to go and reread it again now that I have them in succession. I'm curious on what he's going to do with this story. Okay, back to magazines. So these 2 books are hot. They're also hard to find, magazine-sized comic books. But I've had these for a long time. I've just never showed them off in a haul. So I've been holding out and not showing everything on my YouTube channel. But since I have these magazines for FOOM, I'm going to show these. So over New Year's, that's how long ago this was. So it is now October, or no, now it's September. But New Year's, I went to Austin, Texas, and I found this bad boy hanging on the wall. Captain Britain 8, right? First appearance of Betsy Braddock. This book was catching steam then. They had most of the run on a wall at this big Austin comic book store, and I can't remember the name, but I did post it when I was there on Instagram. So this is one that is super newsprinty. I probably will not get this pressed because I don't think you can press it. It's very difficult. The FOOMs were difficult to press, Sean said, but this one probably even more so. So this is the first appearance of Betsy Braddock, who is Psylocke, for those of you that don't know her civilian name. And as a result, I fast-tracked my desire to find this next book. And I found it on eBay. I worked out a deal with the owner, and I believe it was in the UK. Makes sense, right? Captain Britain number 1. Now, what's important for me is I wanted to get this in the a good condition, because these magazine-sized books are tattered usually, but I also wanted to make sure that the inside mask is attached. And from what I understand, these get attached in various ways, but that plastic or that adhesive deteriorates. So it's important to have the mask and have it attached at some point. So I probably will get this graded and get this graded very soon. I am not going to press it, and especially because there's a mask inside. Let me know if any of you have ever pressed any of these books. I'd be very curious to hear how that went. But I think I'm just going to send these as is. They are high grade, and the FOOM's already pressed, so I'll just send them all in and see what happens. So before Sean went back to Portland, we did some comic book hunting. I took him to some stores that had back issues, because that's what we look for. We're not so much looking for the current issues, because what's the use in hunting for that? So one of the stores, To Be Continued Comics, which you've seen some of my videos on the great books that I found there. Great guys. I was able to pick up this Marvel Team Up, number 15. So this is a second copy for me. It's a nice copy. It's beat, it's I knew that it wasn't in great condition. It's probably less than mid-grade, but it is the first team up of Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. More of a spec buy. I like the cover. I like the Marvel Team Ups, but it's just a good one to have. So if you see this in the pile for Marvel Team Up and it's affordable, pick it up. This was rising. This book was rising several months ago. I think it's cooled off a little bit now that there's no Ghost Rider news happening out of Marvel. There's not much news of anything happening out of Marvel, but it's just a solid book, so buy it regardless. At another store, Big Planet Comics in Virginia, I picked up Batman 357, the first appearance of Killer Croc. I thought it was pretty affordable, comparably priced to the current comps out there. It has one major spine tick, but otherwise, or maybe two, but otherwise, excellent copy. This is definitely a 9-something. First appearance of Killer Croc here, although it is disputed. There's people that say this isn't his first, and there's other cameos or what have you. He is a key Batman villain. I've been picking up some of the key Batman books. That's given me some really great motivation in my collecting journey these days. So this is a cool one. I saw this book on the wall for like $180 to $200 all weekend at Baltimore Comic-Con. I did not pay that. I paid around $100 for this book, so was happy about that. The last stop on this comic book local hunt was Victory Comics in Falls Church, Virginia. So they usually have a wall of back issues that is excellent. They didn't have them up at all because they were just coming back from Baltimore Comic-Con, so they hadn't had a chance to replenish their wall. Completely understandable. So we hunted in the bins, and I found 2 books. First one is maybe an impulse buy, Deadpool 67, Dazzler Connection. If Dazzler ever comes to be in the MCU with Deadpool or what have you, this book will be one to have. So I picked this one up for $20. I, kind of, ashamed to do that, but I did. I needed something to pick up. But I also picked up Avengers 43 for under $20. So this is the first appearance of the Red Guardian. Really, kind of a key character that I'm sure they'll bring back, especially if they use Yelena Belova, Black Widow. So Red Guardian is one that I'm sure will be back in the movies. And so, Dave Harbour, great actor, but solid condition. It has a subscription crease of some sort. It's off-center, but excellent copy. So for $19.99, I will pick this up. So that's my key comic and magazine haul post Baltimore Comic-Con. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, why? Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know what you think of this haul. Do you have FOOMs? I'm curious who has the FOOMs out there. Those are super hard to come by. So if you find a FOOM, you like the cover, you're interested in collecting them, pick them up because you don't know when you'll see them again. And stay tuned to more comic book haul videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.